I know some of you well enough that some of you will be saying, why on earth are you using a sickle? Why don't you get a weed whacker? Why don't you get a strimmer? Why don't you get one of those noisy petrol engine things, or gasoline engine things, and rip round the garden ever so quick and do it all in 5 minutes? Some of you will go to your local dumps and you will come home with 7 or 8 weed whackers, and you'll spend the next month taking them apart and buying new bulbs and fuel lines for them and making them run. And that's all well and good. I have got one. I use it. I don't like using it, it's not fun, but I do use it. But you can't use a tool like that for a problem like this. What we have here is an apricot tree. Last Friday I had a couple of visitors, and one of them said, "That's not an apricot tree, that's a such and such." I can't remember quite what she said it was. And I said, "No, that is an apricot tree." "How do you know?" I said, "Because one of my neighbours had given me 5 apricots and I ate them, and I put the seed, the stones." Another one wants to see what I'm up to. Okay, I had put the stones in my nursery bed and they sprouted, they grew. I am told that it is not possible to grow or to get apricots. It's possible to grow the tree, but apricots will not fruit in Azay-le-Ferrand. I'm told this. That's the local wisdom. I suspect they're right, because apricot, the word itself, the name of the fruit, is related to precocious. It's one of the first fruit trees to flower, and the fruit sets very, very early and long before the last frost here in Azay-le-Ferrand. So I'm told that I will never get fruit off it. Well, that sounds like a challenge to me. But what I do need to do is keep it tidy. And if I tried to cut round this with a weed whacker, I wouldn't have an apricot tree, so that's why we use a sickle. I say I wouldn't have an apricot tree, well I would, because we've got another one here, and over in those weeds over there, there's another one growing. As I say, I'm told that I'm wasting my time. Well, maybe, but it's my time to waste. And they create a bit of shade, and they give somewhere for people who enjoy a bit of shade to relax. There we are, job done. Right, that was a job done. Now, what can we do with a thing like that? We can go catfishing, and the governor has just said, stop mucking about with apricot trees, get the ground around the Christmas tree tidy. Yeah, anyway, we had a works meeting and we're going to have tea first. Well, that's it. While me and the lads were having our duly authorised tea break, we heard noises out here in the garden. Now, being that we were on our duly authorised tea break, none of us moved to investigate. So when we finished our tea break, and when we took another 10 minutes to go to the toilet and all that sort of thing, we came out and we found the governor out here working. Yeah, and he was using a sickle that had been sharpened by non-union labour. And more seriously, he didn't have 3 people standing watching him. And under union guidelines, if you haven't got 3 people standing there watching you, you can't do anything. So me and the lads have decided that we're going on sit-down strike. Governor's said if we do, we won't get paid. Yeah. Oh dear. Terrible working for bosses like mine. He's hoping to become rich. This Christmas tree was bought 1 January. Why does anybody buy Christmas trees in January? Well, simples. Before Christmas, they're expensive. Immediately after Christmas, oh look, there's a tourterelle, a collared dove. If I move back a bit, that beautiful, beautiful dove will probably, no, not going to, but they come for the water. Where was I? Yes. Before Christmas, Christmas trees are expensive. Immediately after Christmas, you can generally find some at very, very reduced prices. And those in pots with roots on can, of course, be planted. What was here when I first saw the house was a dead peach tree. It was dead. So it got taken down, cut into small portions, and it provided me with heat for about an afternoon, which left me with bare space. So a Christmas tree went in there, and it has already grown. Oh, well, it was only about that tall when I got it. It's growing, and if you want to buy a Christmas tree this big, this Christmas, it will cost you about €20. And if you leave it another year and let it grow for another year and try to buy one that size next year, it will cost you €25. So by the time I'm 180, that tree will be incredibly valuable. Yeah. And when I'm 180, I'll cut it down in December and sell it for a lot of money and be rich.